Hey again everybody, it's Robert184, GundamReviews.net, and today I'm happy to bring you a look at System Base 001. This is part of the Builder Parts line from Bandai, where you can basically take your Gunpla and recreate a hangar scene with your Gundams standing there getting ready to launch and go to war. This is a late 2011 release and sells for the reasonable price of 900 yen. On the front of the box, they're going to be showing off that this is just right for 1/144th scale and that you can match it. So if you've got a larger MS like the Unicorn and Destroy mode, you can have it spread out and you can have a more compact mode if you've got the real grade, or of course high grade RX-78-2. But on the side, even though they're really pushing the real grade and high grade 1/144th size here, they also say, as you like, why don't you go ahead and use a master grade as well? So the fact that they're saying that leads me to believe that we won't be getting a 1/100th one out in the future. To the sides for the rest of the box tour, you can see the same thing there. This is for a large size one, and all you have to do actually is just pull it apart actually, and you can make the left and right sides go out and in, which is really cool that you don't have to do too much disassembly or anything to get it there. There it is, and I have to say that that Gundam is sort of getting lost in there. You'll notice that there's weapons on the side, which is going to be another additional bonus, because what you can do is you do have an attachment part down there, which is going to allow you to line them up side by side by side. So if you want to recreate a classic One-Year War Zaku launch factory, why not? But you just have to have a one pink one in there. It actually says that this is mandatory for anybody who does display it. If it's not painted, you'll notice that on the front it has some nice shiny metal parts all over the place, mostly there with these little piston type things. None of those are going to be painted from the box. You can see down there that there's nothing in place for the feet there, and you're going to have all these different platforms, and these are the parts that are going to allow you to combine it left and right. Some of the things that really sold me on this kit though is just the fact that you can actually swing this whole part out, if you see the arrow down there. So you don't have to have it standing up or laying back on its back. You can just actually set it in a few different positions, which is cool. As you may have seen there, you have different footrests. You have some that are going to fill up the whole base, some that are going to be quite small, and you're also going to have these rack parts, so you can take the Gundam's weapons, whether they're beam rifles or bazookas, and line them up, and it looks like you can adjust the heights that they sit at as well. When you open the box, you're going to get a big sheet of gray, a couple more sheets of gray, sheet of gray with a big base in there, and the manual. The A1 and A2 are just separated here at birth, if you will, from the box, and there's a fair amount of details here on these side struts, which are looking pretty good, and on the inside, you can see that there's a lot of little things if you want to go around and position different racks in different places. A long B-plate gives you a second set of struts here, and you're going to have part of the feet rests, and it looks like ammo racks for the sides. Before the C1 and C2 plates wrap things up, and you're going to have another footrest there for the wide variation. Couple connectors if you actually want to buy a couple of these and attach them together. It looks like they'll just squeeze into here so that you could line up these bases side by side, and the actual base itself is quite large, and on the back it's pretty hollow. When it's all put together, it's actually going to be pretty large in size. It's looking good overall. This is in the open position, and you can see that that's where the sliding parts are going to be. If you went ahead and painted these piston type things, I'm sure it would be a lot more visually attractive. But I have to give it credit, you've got these racks over here. You don't actually have the attachment parts. Those are over on the other side. You can see them here. You can adjust the heights. Here's where you're able to put the parts side by side. But overall, the fact that you can move this around and change the angles makes it pretty visually appealing, even with no effort whatsoever. Not too much to talk about in terms of posability, except for the fact that this part here is going to be able to move around. And you do that, you can just slide it up here. It's got a really nice mechanism there, so you bring that up. And once you've done that, you can bring it forward, and it's got all of these little places down there. So you can go and sit it in a position all the way forward. It's going to look like this compared to sitting at the back. So here, the guy's really on vacation, it looks like. So Captain Krudek of my anime reviews has worked incredibly hard this first generation and deserves some downtime in the maintenance hangar. So this is one of the larger high-grade Universal Century kits, but you can just sort of see that even with this in its spread out position, that he looks to be a little bit lost in there. It does look to be slightly too large, even for a larger 1/144th. If you want to fix that though, you can just pop out this foot part here, bring the whole thing up. You'll actually detach all of the sides here, and when it's detached from the base, all you have to do then is slide it together. You get a satisfying click, and now it's going to be a lot smaller here once you actually get it locked back into place. You can see that there's going to be 8 holes here in total, so this is for the outer position, this is for the inner one, and it's cool that when I took off these feet part here, the footrests, they were actually attached onto the sides, but then all you have to do is attach them together. They've got a peg system that makes that work, and then when we put it on here, Even from the back, it seems that this is a lot more appropriate for most of 1/144th scale kits. For the weapon racks on the side, you're going to get 4 of these, so you could actually put 4 on a side if you want to, and you're only going to get 4 of these handles, which just does come across as being a little bit cheap on their part. But let's see how you want to do this. You can just go and line everything up, you could just choose the heights to put these things at, and then you can take the weapons and I suppose line them up. And with that, pretty much no matter what size you're dealing with here, you should be able to find a way to get the weapons in here because you can move them off to the side, and if you wanted to, you could just cheat and rest the weapon on top here. There's the 2 empty racks on this side, and you can see that even though with the 1/144th it looks a little bit too small, with these parts here it actually makes the whole thing look a little bit more filled in, and then you could actually justify putting a whole bunch beside each other because they'd all have their weapons there, and it's not going to look too skinny despite the large base it's on. But even though it does look good with high grades or 1/144ths or real grades, I'm going to have to say that this thing in its open position is more suitable for 1/100th, master grades or non-grades or whatever you want to put on there. I'm actually really happy with the way this guy looks in there. But maybe that's just me. What do you think of this? The head looks a little bit tall with an 18-19 meter Gundam in there. If you took the weapons off though, he really wouldn't seem out of place size-wise. So now for some of the good and bad things, there's lots of nubs on these large parts. You can just imagine that a lot of plastic has to get injected in, so I've covered up most of them. But anyway, you are going to have some large parts to cut off, shave, sand, and paint if you wanted to go that far. They're just going to be large in diameter. The pistons you can see when they come around here, boy do they look dull on the back compared to how shiny and silver they look on the box art, but to be expected and something you could fix up very well. But where little things that Bandai could have done that would have been easy to fix is just weapon holders. They're going to give you 4 racks, but they're only going to give you 4 of these. 8 would at least seem to be appropriate, if not even more than that. Anyway, something that I guess they expect you to just buy more. Now, something that I recommend being careful of, as it spins around here, I actually cut a part off that I shouldn't have. So kids, follow the directions, and adults as well. It should have a bar across there, which would make this look even better. So don't just cut things off. Also, I wish it had attachment points for the extras. You've got all these extra things that you're going to have to put in a Ziploc or hang on somewhere. You've got this giant base underneath, and we've already seen that Bandai can sometimes hide stuff underneath, and it would have been nice if they found a way to put all the extras under there, out of sight, out of mind, and not getting lost. But for the positives, the first one just has to be this slide down mechanism. It works great. It's very easy to get this angled at any angle that you want down there because the slide mechanism works so well. The side vertical bars, actually, they fit in there very well. You've got tons of positions to put them over there, tons of positions to put these in on the side, so you're going to have no problems getting pretty much any weapon in there as well. You've got good channels all over the place if you wanted to put some lining in, and you're going to be getting lots of feed options. You've got different pads, the way you can attach everything together. You can choose the look that's right for you, and even if you just get rid of the base altogether and have the Gundam stand there, it's still going to look really sharp. And the biggest bonus just has to be that whether you want to use it for 1/144th or 1/100th, they're both going to work. So I'd imagine that since we don't have a 1/100th on the horizon, you might as well get this and you can just start building up your collection from here. So final verdict, I'm going to say it's fantastic that Bandai is finally coming out with this stuff on their own. Before you'd have to buy stuff from rival companies, I suppose, if you wanted to go and build up your hangar, but now Bandai's realizing, just like with action bases, if they come up with a standard format, then you can start adding in bonuses, you can have different kinds, and it's all going to look pretty uniform. And I have to say that in terms of looks, they've got it, functionality, they've got it, combined with the fact that it opens up so well, has the 2 positions, and holds 1/100ths. For 900 yen, I have to say that this is a big win for me. Anyway, everybody, why don't you let me know what you think with a comment down below of this and the other accessories that Bandai's been trying. They're throwing new things out there. Let's see which ones stick. But anyway, thanks for watching this. Please let me know what you think with a comment down below. And we'll see you next time with lots more reviews of accessories, books, manga, animes, and, yeah, plastic models. See ya. Looks like somebody needs a Grudek butt end to get his butt out of bed.